Hey y'all, how's it going? Hey, it's something to bark about. Yay! How's everybody doing? We hit 101 subscribers this morning. So to all you people who have subscribed, thank you very much. I'm Darlene. This is my old girl, Oops. And she is like, Mama, why are you doing this to me? Hey, Dangerous Waves, thank you. I appreciate all the shout outs this morning and the other channel. It really helped. Um, Interested to get to know you and what dogs you got and that kind of stuff. But this is my old girl, Oops. Um, I'm probably going to have a baby in the background throwing a fit because all the rest of them are around my feet, wanting up in my lap. And Faith was not participating and was going to cause an issue. So her got put in timeout. And I think she's going to be telling me about it. But anyway, Oops is my old girl. She's 8. And she was my first grand champion getting started in showing Chihuahuas. And she says, Mama, please take this thing off. So we will. We wanted to humiliate her a minute. Now they can see her ears. You want to say hi, Oopsie? Say, I had lots of tricks. We'll have to do tricks when I'm doing the cell phone because I'm learning how to do it on both. Um, I sure appreciate you, Dangerous. You're in North Arkansas, right? I remember that from yesterday. My brain is a little overloaded on trying to learn how to do this stuff. Let me know if you can hear me and if you hear all the pitter patter around my feet. It's amazing what this microphone picks up. Plus the daycare babies I have that are just out the door there. They were barking a minute ago. So, oh, is it afternoon nap time, Oopsie? She says, I don't have but a few teeth left. And the youngster tries to pick a fight with her and she can't defend herself anymore. So the youngster got put in timeout for a little while. But I'm just tickled to get this thing going. I have no clue what I'm doing, but I'm going to do my best at learning. I said earlier, teaching an old dog new tricks, but it is possible. If you love them, they'll learn anything you want them to know. And man, they teach us more than we could ever teach them. We'd have a whole much better world if everybody was more like a dog that didn't get mad at you and forgave you quick and all that kind of stuff. Like dogs have been my life in owning a pet resort, grooming 40 years, training dogs, having a boarding and daycare facility that's attached to my home here in South Arkansas. And so it's been just a dream. I started this when I was 22. I keep telling everybody my business will turn 44 on April 1st, April Fool's Day. And I always said I started on that date in case it didn't work. But I've been blessed all these years to get to do what I love. And when somebody leaves their dog with you, that's the greatest respect you can get because that's their precious baby that they're putting in your hands. So, but I'm hoping we can make this a fun thing, get to going daily. I got into Chihuahuas about 10 or 11 years ago or 12. And after showing dogs over the years, I wanted to go small. I didn't want to have the big old heavy crates toting around, traveling. So when I'm at a dog show, I'll walk by and have a bag with two or three of my girls in there and say, oops, I forgot something. Then I'll turn around like, no, I didn't. Got it all right here on my arm. And that's pretty cool when you see my cousin shows the number one mastiff in the country. His name is Beast. And if you look this dog up, he's I don't know how much he weighs, 200 and something plus. But they were just at the national championship shows that always is the end of the year for us dog show people. Faith, I hear you, and I'm sure they can hear you. You got to learn to play right, and then you can be a part of it. But anyway, I got to see her running around the ring with that big old thing, and I mean, and he has met my chihuahuas and scared to death of them. That's pretty funny. A 200-pound dog and a 4.5, 5-pound dog. So anyway, Dangerous, do you have a dog? And if so, what kind? I started the first animal shelter here in Camden and brought dog shows to Camden. I was blessed to do 20 years of dog shows here in town, and we were always the weekend after Westminster, and it was so cool to get some of the top dogs in the country here in our little bitty neck of the woods. And it just became a thing. This town went nuts when it was dog show time, and we had a great time. But we called it quits in our 20th year in 2019, and I'm so thankful because the clubs that went through the COVID times were so horrible. A lot of small clubs like ours was lost everything if they had paid for venues and that kind of stuff. I hear the daycare dogs. Dangerous, can you hear the background? Can you hear the dogs barking in the background? I'm sure you can. I can hear it through these headphones. I'm sure it's coming through clear. Anyway, I just wanted to do a short live. Please get y'all to share it. Have 2 months. Mama's a little everything. Daughter is whatever mom is, and daddy is pity. That's beautiful. Around here we call them South Arkansas specials, and they are. I've always said if it's a dog, 4 legs and a tail, no tail, I mean, it don't matter. We love to see dogs in the right homes and loved and cared for. That's my main thing. And running the animal shelter, I did that for 7 years, and it was the worst 7 years of my life because it's pretty sad when in South Arkansas, it's one home for every 50 dogs needing one. And that's talking puppies. When they get, 4 or 5 months old and up, their chances just go down and down. And it's so sad. And thankful for these rescues that have started shipping these dogs up north in some of the northern towns, can't talk today, where they don't have a stray dog issue. But there's been so many transports that unfortunately they're getting full, and that is sad, sad, sad. So we always, if you get a dog, please have it spayed and neutered and take care of it. If you get that dog to show it, I mean, like I've always said, my dogs are my babies first. No matter what they do in the ring, win or lose, I'm going home best in show. And that's a hobby that has allowed me to go play with my dogs on the weekends. When you're responsible for other people's pets and you do that 7 days a week, getting to go to a dog show is amazing. That's my little vacations. Um, yeah, the cats, that's even a harder deal to think about. Um, people don't realize there was a thing I learned years ago, and I hadn't have to Google it and see what the numbers are now. But and for dogs, if one dog had a litter of puppies and one survived or two survived, I may be misquoting this. It's been a while. Hey, Happy, welcome in. Thank you for joining in. But it was something like if a dog had a puppy and one or two survived, and that each of those dogs had a litter in 7 years, it was 64,000 dogs. And the same scenario with cats was 120,000 cats. And you learn by doing. I mean, when we built the animal shelter here, I was tickled to death. We worked hard, raising money, begging, and I'd get kind of angry at people because they called wanting to get rid of dogs, but they didn't want to donate $1, to help run the shelter and take care of these dogs and try to get them a second chance. And cats, we took in cats too. But after all these years, I've learned that, you can't build a big enough building. There's just, you've got to have people, responsible owners, do the right thing, and the responsible owners teach the crazy people how they don't need a pet if they can't care for it correctly. And I just had a phone call a minute ago from a girl I went to school with, and her dad is he's fallen and broke his hip, and he has a 2 or 3 year old Chihuahua dachshund, and that she's been taken care of, and she's worried the dog will make her dad fall again, and was calling me about a home for it. And of course, my only advice was basically a picture of her on Facebook to get a larger audience than South Arkansas, hopefully. But, and then I also told her that if she could work out any way to keep her, that dog would help her dad heal a whole lot faster because, that they are great company. I can't imagine not having dogs in my life. And as I get older, I sure couldn't imagine it. Let's see. I mean, I don't know how to do this setup real good. So the chat's over here on the side that I'm not seeing. Um, Happy says you help Feral Cat Coalition here in town, made and sold fudge to raise money. My arm about fell off stirring all that fudge. Absolutely. I mean, it's any person in rescue, and I don't care if you do it one dog that you see or a cat, or if you support a facility or a community project that helps hundreds. I always think about that's one animal that was saved. That was something really hard for me to learn because my heart wanted to save them all, but I had to focus on the one I could help. And you know, uh, I've met lots of people over the years that have come up with wonderful ideas to help their communities. Uh, I'm trying to think of y'all hear my puppy in the background. I'm sorry. We'll have to think about that in the next live where she's not throwing a fit. But it was a coalition where they would uh, trap, neuter, and release. And they set up these colonies and would go and catch all these cats in an area and spay and neuter them and then put them back. and a volunteer would go by, making sure they always had food. But they were wonderful for the community. Faith, hold your horses. They were wonderful for the community because, they eat rats and do great things. So, yeah. Well, my thing with Chihuahuas, when I started getting into them, I said, how many Chihuahuas does it uh, make to equal a whole dog? Faith. And the answer was, I don't know, because I have 12 now and they're up to 31 pounds. And uh, so, yeah, house full, definitely. But, I showed boxers and pointers and big dogs. And, I have a lap full when they all get my lap. But that's kind of the deal when you get into it. And of course, that's what I live for is my dogs. So I don't have a husband telling me no, you can't have them. So um, you took care of 8 community cats. That's cool. Dangerous. That's great. Have chickens, sheep, rabbits, but they aren't allowed but they are allowed in the house. Well, I raised miniature horses for a few years, and I have a miniature donkey that I have brought her in the kennel a couple times when it got bitterly cold. Um, but she will be 23 in April. And I lost my last mini horse a couple of summers ago. And Eloise is my donkey. Y'all will be seeing her on videos. But she's done great. And of course, the way I've got it all set up, they can go around to where the boarding dogs and daycare dogs are. So it's not like she's been by herself at all. And same thing, I got into pygmy show goats, and I had a couple of them, and I have one left that she thinks she's a dog. And the daycare dogs just can't wait till they can come in. Her name is 50. I had two that I named 50 and 52. So when I got them, I was 52 and my partner was 50. So I could keep up with how old they are. And lost 52 a couple of summers ago, about the same time I lost my mini horse. But it's amazing how they can adapt, which, goats usually need other goats and donkeys usually need other donkeys or mini horses. And I'm reading your message, Dangerous. It's hard typing on that chat sometimes, but I did read they are allowed. But when you said can't, totally get it. I had a bunch of chickens. I had ordered all kinds of different breeds and was enjoying them for a couple of years and built like a prison to keep things from getting them. And I got down to my last 2 roosters, and we put up trail cams and everything, and we had an owl in, we had a raccoon trying to get them, and after raising them and making them pets, and then having something get them during the night, I was like, no more chickens around here. But animals are my life, dogs primarily, but I've had a lot of animals in my life. I used to have a cockatoo that she could make all the dog sounds. She would have me running. Uh, she could make a puppy sound like a puppy screaming, and you'd think a puppy was being hurt, and I'd go running and it'd be that bird. And then she would laugh, she'd get my reaction. Um, Pet skunk. I worked for my vet here, local vet, for several years, and we had to descent some skunks, baby skunks, and that was not real fun. Uh, all of us at the clinic would try to, have a personal day or a sick day if we knew that was on the record, because that is not a fun experience. And we had some baby skunks, three of them, that they come up close to where my dog yard was. And they were so tiny, they just walked right through the chain link. And I kept looking for mama, thinking, oh my gosh, there's got to be a mama. And the girl that was roommate at the time, she had put a thing of Tommy Toe tomato plant on the little patio and was growing them little tomatoes. Well, that's what attracted the skunks to my patio. And I didn't know what to do. I was Googling, when they're that tiny, if they can spray you. And of course, my heart didn't want to hurt them, but I sure didn't want to have, as a groomer for 40 years. And I'll tell you right now, no matter what anybody says, the only thing to clear a skunk scent off your dog is lots of time. The tomato paste, the peroxide, the Dawn, all the old things, you can do it, and you can have a dog shake tomato paste everywhere in your grooming room. But the only thing that works on the skunk scent off your dog or any pet is time. I've had dogs that I groom, regularly, weekly, every month, that kind of thing. I don't know why my watch keeps going off. Oh, it says high heart rate. I guess I'm excited talking to you guys. Um, but um, those dogs, we would bathe them, and it'd have my whole room just smelling like a skunk. And a month later, they'd come in and they didn't smell that bad. But the second you wet them, the it smelled just like it did the first time. So I think skunks are cute, but I do not like their scent or what they can put out. You lost two chicken coopfuls. Yeah, it's just, and I mean, I make pets out of them, and I had pictures with chihuahuas and baby chicks doing stuff, and just all kinds of stuff. And like I said, I had actually three roosters left, and I just turned them loose. I thought, because we had three types of wire over this chicken pen, we had netting over the top. We built a run so the chickens could go from one end to the other to a different pen. I mean, they had ain't no telling how much money I spent on that, but they had a wonderful place. And I had the big leghorn chickens, the big ones, and I'd come out and the whole chicken was gone. No feathers, nothing. And I'm like, but I got down to my three roosters left, and I just turned them loose. And I was worried they'd get in with the boarding dogs, which is not fun. But we had a really bad storm, and I mean lightning like I'd never seen, and it hit my place. It hit a tree right behind my place, and of course, knocked out power and everything. Well, we were concerned that was so close. We called the fire department to make sure everything was good. And the guys are looking around and they're shining their lights out the back of my kennel. And I said, oh, I hope my boys are okay. I got three roosters. And they shine the light up in the tree, and there's feathers everywhere. And people mocked me because I said my rooster got fried, but he did. I mean, there was nothing left of the poor two birds. And my third little baby rooster was not in that same tree. But I got a lot of ribbon over me explaining about my rooster getting fried. But the firefighters were pretty concerned too that, with the way it hit that tree and just feathers, that's all that's left of them. I'm sorry to get on a bad subject like that, but talking about losing them made me think of that. Said even when they're descended, they still have a mild skunk smell. I can see that. I've wanted a mink before, like the not a mink, but what do you call them? The weasel looking things that you see at the pet stores a lot. Can't think of the name of it right off the bat, but I've every time I've been around them, they've had a ferret. There we go. They've had a scent, and I think I've grooming dogs all these years. I've had the thing of a good smelling dog is what I like, and if they got a scent, I want to fix it. So I'm afraid if I had one, I'd be bathing it so much it wouldn't even have no hair. So um, found something that worked good, but not completely for the skunk. Yeah, and I mean we got to think, good Lord made them so they're just being them. It's like some dog breeds. They have a smell, and it's just a lot of hounds. If they have a lot of hound in them, you pet on a bloodhound and you smell it pretty quick. Yorkie poo. I've got a couple of Yorkie poos that come to my doggy daycare. They're sweet, sweet dogs. We do, but because I've kind of retired from grooming, I'm down to 7 dogs. And, I'm not going to tell somebody that has a dog I've groomed since it was a baby that's 13 to 15, I'm retired. So I have 7 dogs left that I'm grooming. But thankfully, doggy daycare has filled that gap to allow me the income, not to have to worry about, if I'm not getting them weekly dog groomed or monthly dogs groomed, it hits. But daycare has been fun, and the dog. I mean, people post pictures of their dogs wore out at the end of the day, and I'm always like, don't anybody post a picture of me because I'm pretty worn out too. But we say wagging tails. That's the name of my business, and if their tail ain't wagging, we're not doing our job. You'd use dish soap and baking soda. Yep, that helps with a scent for sure. Any tips on how to clean their eyes? Her eyes water so bad the hair gets matted down her face. I use a flea comb, uh, and don't let the gunk get there. You have to do it just about daily because they'll make a little sore right here down where their eyes strain, and if they're uh, white, have more of a white muzzle or something, of course the tear stain is going to show up, and it's the acid in their um, tears that um, makes them stain like that. And I use one of the tiny flea combs, and I have one when I'm bathing my dogs, and I even do it with chihuahuas if they got a little something in the corner of their eye, but gently get everything out. And if they got the hair touching, try to keep that trim, because I just say, if what you like, what it feel like to you, think about that. It was, I don't know, 19 degrees or something here the other day. And I walk out in my big room with shorts and flip flops on. And my customers are like, are you nuts? Of course, it is my house, it's all attached. But the point is, if it's cold on me, to the point of I got to go do something, I'm going to make sure that with the dogs. So, breeds that, some dogs have such soft hair that it doesn't bother them. but you could think of yourself how it would irritate your eyes, something you feel something poking your eye, or you're rubbing on it. Um, so that's what I would do. That they make a lot of products. There again, you know, there is like the show dog people. They have different colored chalk, and it's just to make them feel better, really. But it does cover up the stain. But I wouldn't do that. Like I said, that clunking up under their eyes is, I call it eye boogers, and you need to keep that out. And daily is how you do that. I know it's a pain, but just get you one of them. I have one of them little square flea combs that sits by my tub, and every dog I do, when I'm checking their face, I'm going to do around their eyes and their ears, and that's kind of eye boogers. That's kind of the routine I get into. Have ball spots. Yeah, that's from letting it kind of build up. And especially if it's dry, don't ever try to take a flea comb if it's dried out, because it can be attached and you're pulling off a little skin trying to get that yuck out. So they make little wipes, probably got them at Walmart, that are made specifically safe to get around their face and eyes. But you want to dampen that. Don't just pull on it with a flea comb. You want to make sure and just gently, if I have a dog come in that hadn't had its face touched in a month or 6 weeks, well, I got to wet that up real good and soften it. Now, I don't put soap right around their eyes, because then you've got an issue with that burn their eyes, and their eyes hurt from the soap. But as far as just getting tissues daily and trying to keep that soft. And that's what causes a sore underneath, is if you're getting too rough and you're getting skin with the goop when you pull it off. Well, guys, I am just tickled. I really appreciate Dangerous putting my uh, thing in that chat we were in earlier. I am wanting to get this going and be able to share and be able to, hear everybody else's things going on with their dogs, and just make this a fun thing. I don't know how often I'm going to try at least a weekly live, and then uploading my daily videos of my dogs and daycare dogs and donkeys and whatever's going on. But, if y'all will help spread the word, I'll forever be grateful. And we'll look for another. Like I said, I don't know, but I'm probably going to do weekly at 1:30 Central Time and try that out. Well, y'all have a great rest of the day, and thanks for joining me and making my first real stream. Y'all are my first chat, so I'll always remember you. Yes, I'm in the States. I'm in South Arkansas. All right, guys, have a great rest of your day. I'm going to figure out how to end the stream now. If I can get my mouse working. There it goes. Take care.